In our last lesson, we were talking about using context clues to figure out words that we didn't know. I want to point out something to you. Sometimes it's really not about words that we don't know. I have come across quite a few times in my life words that I know. I've heard them used in conversation. I've heard people use them on movies or television shows or just people around me talking. And I knew what the word meant. But then when I see it in print, it doesn't look like the word that I think it is. One that comes to mind easily is the word facade. Now, a facade is a false front. So buildings can have facades. There are actually some buildings in Dillsboro that have, when you look at them in the front, they're like really tall and they're all like different. They look the same, but they're all different colors. But if you look at the back of the building, you can see that's just a facade in the front. It's a fake front. And then there are all these other little buildings behind there. And the buildings themselves are different, but they made these fronts to all look the same so that it would look like a cohesive little a group of buildings that went together. People can put on a facade. So if you say a character in a book, she put on the facade that she was rich and very prim and proper when actually she might have been incredibly poor and just trying to fit in with a different group of people. So I've heard about a facade. I knew what it was until I saw it the first time in print. And it didn't look like facade to me. It looked like facade. It was Facade. And I was like, what is it? I've never heard this word. What is a facade? And the more I read in the book about what a facade was, I was like, oh, I do know this, but it doesn't look like the way I would say it. The word is facade. It looks, I'm not sure how I would spell it, but that was never how I would spell it. So all of that to say, context clues come in really handy to help you figure out a word when you're in the middle of reading without having to stop and go get a dictionary or stop and pull out your phone and Google something. Super important. Let's look at yesterday's super quickly. Apparently the word of the day is super, so super quickly, let's go look at our super fun worksheet. Okay. All right, this is the context clue, definitions, and illustrations that you completed yesterday. We're just going to go over this really quickly. The first sentence, the manager wanted a weekly inspection, which is a methodical examination of all the equipment. So the inspection, which is, and it gives you the answer there, right? A methodical examination of all the equipment. Tricky. The leopard seal's mouth was about to engulf the penguin. But what is the leopard seal about to do? Is he about to smile at the penguin? I don't think so. Is he about to Gulf Coast the penguin? I don't even know what that means. Is his mouth about to surround the penguin? I'm afraid so, Mr. Penguin. Or is he about to sing to the penguin? I'm going to go with he doesn't look like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, so he's probably not going to sing to the penguin. I'm going to go with surround. Something is engulfed by something, it's surrounded by something. Now, I wanted to do those two to remind you of what we did yesterday, but I'm not going to go further in case there are some of you out there being sneaky and you haven't done this assignment yet. We can't let that happen, right? If you have questions about any of the others and you don't understand, if you missed one but you don't understand why, please let me know. Also, because occasionally I get so busy getting the questions and the pictures and the videos all uploaded, I might get the key. I might put the key in incorrectly. It might be grading it wrong. So always ask if you think that there is something wrong. Okay. All right. Let's look at a different kind of context clue. And actually, I said yesterday was easy, but this may be easier because we're still talking about the definitions and they're still going to be in the sentences that we've looked at, but they're put in as something we call an appositive. Let me explain. Often those definitions are given as appositives, noun phrases that explain the noun and are embedded in the sentence. Did you see what I did there? So here I gave you a word. Those definitions are given as appositives. And then I put a comma. And then I told you what an appositive was. Noun phrases that explain the noun, comma. And then I went back to my sentence and are embedded in the sentence. So I could read the sentence without this part in in between the commas, then it would make sense. Often, those definitions are given as appositives and are embedded in the sentence. But this is the part that gives you the definition. An appositive is a noun phrase that explains the noun. Look at this sentence. At night, you can see many constellations, groups of stars, in the sky. I can read this sentence without the appositive. At night, you can see many constellations in the sky. This is here to show you what a constellation is. So what is a constellation? At night, you can see many constellations or groups of stars in the sky. The sentence tells us by using an appositive that a constellation is a group of stars. An appositive, I say, is always surrounded by commas, but actually sometimes it's used at the beginning of a sentence. It still has a comma, but we don't start a sentence with a comma. That never happens. So sometimes there's just the one. Mike's room was immaculate or super clean and tidy when I visited last week. The appositive, super clean and tidy, tells us the meaning of immaculate. I know that you're at home right now going, of course, my room is also immaculate, right? Basically, this is just another way that authors use definitions in their writing to help us figure out words that might be unfamiliar. It's super nice of them to do that for us. So now we're going to go and complete the assignment for today, which is the number 2 context clues appositives. And I know I said this about yesterday's lesson, but I think actually this might be the easiest 100 you've ever made, since the answers are literally in the sentence. Take your time. When we think things are easy, we tend to go super fast, and that's when we make our careless mistakes. You don't want to make a careless mistake. Let me show you what today's assignment looks like. So you are going to look at the rest of this assignment, number 2, context clues, appositives. You're going to type your first and last name. You're going to read each sentence below and pay attention to the word in capital letters. Choose the correct definition for the capitalized word in the sentence. Look for the definition of the unfamiliar word in the sentence as the biggest clues to the correct meaning. We're going to look at this one as an example. The little girl was so ornery, really stubborn, that she was hard to get along with. I will tell you this. If you will read the sentence out loud and pay attention to punctuation, it's almost like it's handing you the answer. Okay? You have 5, I believe, 5 sentences here with some words that we may not know. Ornery, lackadaisical, balderdash, bamboozled, and scallywag. I just tried to pick some fun words, and I think we should start using them more and more. Take your time. The answers are in the sentence. That's the best part about context clues is I'm not asking you to memorize something or to dig in your brain and try to figure out something. The answers are right there. So find the answer and then read the question carefully to make sure that you understand what you're doing. Make sure the sentence makes sense. If you use that word as you think it, if you choose that definition for the word, make sure that the sentence makes sense that way. That's what I'm trying to say. And then submit it. And as always, if you have any questions, all you have to do is email me and I will help you as quickly as I possibly can. All right? All right. Go be word detectives, and I'll see you next time.